Welcome to Rajendra Tandon videos, continuing with our narration of Valmiki Ramayana. I take up today Ravana, the king of Lanka, mourning the death of his son Indrajit at the hands of Lakshmana. Valmiki writes, Ravana's ministers made sure that the news of Indrajit's death was not untrue. They visited the site of the battle to see for themselves. Only then did they communicate the sad news to their king. They said, Maharaja, Lakshmana with Vibhishana's active assistance has killed Indrajit in full view of our soldiers. He who had defeated all Devatas, the one who was invincible, fought a glorious battle with Lakshmana prior to departing for the other world. Ravana fainted on hearing the heart-breaking news. Indrajit was his eldest son. He was the bravest of all the Rakshasas. Regaining his consciousness after some time, emotionally disturbed and wailing pathetically, Ravan said, "O my son, O my son, you were a pillar of support for the Rakshasena. How could Lakshmana overcome a warrior like you? Son, when angry you could tear apart Yamaraj with your arrows, or even smash the Mandarachal peaks. Killing Lakshmana on the battlefield was child's play for you. Today I realize the power that Yamaraj wields. He subjugated you to the laws of death." Mark the refined language Valmiki was writing. It's excellent prose. It was written in poetry, but as translated, it reads in prose, and I call it excellent prose. Without Indrajit, the three worlds and the earth with its forests appeared to me like a wilderness, mourned Ravana. In the inner chambers of the palace, today I shall hear the wail of the Rakshasa beauties. You were a terror for the enemies. Where have you gone to, leaving behind your status as the Yuvraj, your Lankapuri, your mother, the Rakshasas, your wives, and me? Mark the meticulous detail. My warrior son, I ought to have preceded you to Yamalok, and you should have performed my Shraddha. However, the order has been reversed. Ram, Lakshman and Sugriva are still alive. Why have you deserted us without plucking those thorns from my side? Remembering his son's death, Ravana grew furious. In his son's absence, his worries had multiplied. He looked like the ocean with waves rolling high and large alligators surfacing at the time of Pralaya. Anguished by his son's death, Ravana lost his cool and decided to kill Sita in order to wipe out the cause of the conflict. Ravana's eyes were bloodshot, and the anger at his beloved son's death made them look fiercer. He looked like the invincible Rudra in his anger. His angry eyes shed tears like drops of oil falling from a burning lamp. Angry like the doomsday fires, wherever Ravan looked, the Rakshasas trembled in fear and hid from his view. To restore confidence in his soldiers, Ravana summoned them and said, I pleased Brahma with a penance lasting thousands of years. Because of his blessings, I do not fear the Devatas or the Asuras. I possess armor gifted by Brahma himself. I have fought several battles against the Devatas, and this armor did not give way to any weapon. Today, when I go to the battlefield, none can stand against me. Even Indra dare not fight my prowess. A happy Brahma had blessed me with a massive bow and arrows during the Devasur Sangram. I am determined to kill Ram and Lakshman with the same powerful bow and arrows in the ensuing great fight, to the accompaniment of hundreds of musical instruments playing auspicious music. Aggrieved by his son's death, continues Valmiki, the cruel Ravana made up his mind to kill Sita after careful consideration. Addressing the assembled Rakshasas in a plaintive tone, he said, "My son had cut a dummy Sita into pieces in order to deceive the Vanaras. Today, I shall kill the real woman and make Indrajit's declaration ring true. I shall assassinate Sita, who is obsessed with Ram, a lowly Kshatriya." What does he think of himself? Emotionally upset with his son's death, carrying an unsheathed sword, Ravana advanced towards the Ashok Vatika, closely followed by his wife and ministers. Looking at him walking like this, his ministers roared like lions. Sita was startled to look at the Rakshasa Raj coming like this. She wailed and said, "The manner in which the angry giant is advancing towards me indicates that this evil Rakshas will kill me. I love my husband and thus have spurned his repeated advances, Ravana's repeated advances. I should have listened to Hanuman and gone riding on his back when he suggested me to do so. What if Sri Ram has been killed? What will happen to the mothers in Ayodhya? They will end their lives for sure." Looking at Sita's suffering and wailing, Suparshva, a righteous man and a wise counselor of Ravana, pushing aside the sycophants, addressed the king and said, "Maharaj Dashagriva, you happen to be a real brother to Kuber. How then have you, setting dharma aside, decided to kill Vaidehi? Living as a brahmachari, you had completed your formal education in scriptures in a gurukul. You have always followed the path of duty. How do you justify the killing of a helpless woman? My king, you will not do so. Prithvinath, look at Maithili's divine face and proceed to the battlefield. We shall fight by your side till the end of the battle. You are a warrior without an equal. You are a wise and dexterous charioteer. You can kill Ram and get Maithili as a matter of right once she is a widow." Listening to a friendly and sound advice, Ravana returned to his palace and entered the courtroom with his well-wishers. We shall continue with the narrative. According to Valmiki, Ravana sent more troops to fight. The women of Lanka mourned their losses. The narrative continues. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram.